Welcome back to Big Country Politics on KTAB.
Hello and welcome to this week's Sunday Conversation. I'm Manny Diaz. This week our special guest is Sheriff-elect Ricky Bishop. You're not our new sheriff. You're continuing to serve as our sheriff. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So this is going to be your fourth term.
Correct.
Wow, in January. So that means that you're going on, 12 years, if I'm doing my math correct?
Yes,
No.
I'll be completing 12 years.
Completing 12 years.
Yes.
That's quite some time. The folks here in Taylor County feel very confident in you. You outlasted a few other candidates in the primary, which kind of made you kind of the guy in November. Tell me about what it means to kind of represent Taylor County once more.
Well, it means that not only do the employees trust what we're doing, but the public is trusting what we're doing and the goals that we have set forth for trying to protect the county, and they want us to continue that.
We're talking about, going to a fourth term. Presidents have just aged, just a tremendous amount whenever they go from point A to point B in office. How much has this aged you throughout the years?
Fortunately, I still have a lot of my hair, but it's turning gray. But other than that, it's been good.
You're kind of on a unique path here. You're going on your fourth term, but yet, but you're still kind of a little further. You're still a ways away from that longest tenured sheriff. But yet, when it comes to consecutive years, you're building some certainly some years on that.
Yes, sir. Jack Deacon hired me. He did 4 terms as sheriff, and my goal was to at least do 5 terms, along with being the youngest ever being elected. And we've recently found out that there was a sheriff that did 3 different stints at one point. I think back in the early 1900s, middle 1900s, and that was 24 years that he was sheriff, 3 different times. Added together. So I guess that may be my new goal now, is to try to get to there. But I still got a ways to go before I can retire, and things are going good. And as long as we can keep it that way, I plan on staying here as long as I can.
Well, let's get into kind of some things as we move forward with your new term here. You'll take in January, if you will. What can we expect from your administration in another term?
Well, we still got several projects that we need to finish. One of those is putting a computer system in all of our cars. We've got computers in those vehicles now, but they're not operating 100% like they need to. The software is almost complete, and as soon as that's done, hopefully within the next 60 days, we'll have that rolled out to everyone to make all the patrolmen's jobs more efficient. We still need to add more patrolmen to cover the growing population in the county. Right now we've got 36 patrolmen, and ideally we need about 16 more to cover the county more efficiently than we do. But we do a lot with very little, and we're getting it done right now. We're able to keep the crime rate kind of under control with what we've got, and we're almost where we need to be with salaries. Hopefully in another year we'll be where we need to be, because when I took office in 2013, starting salaries was $25,000 a year at the jail and for deputies, and now we've gotten that to where the jail currently is at $53,000 and patrolmen are at $57,000, and hopefully next year we'll be at approximately $56,000 for the jail and $62,000 for patrolmen.
What's the recruiting effort been like? Are y'all being able to retain folks here, or are you still kind of losing out to some of the bigger metropolitan areas?
No, that's actually slowed down with the salary increases that we've got and the increased benefits at the county, because we're now at a 2-to-1 match for retirement, where a lot of places were above us on that, but our medical insurance and everything is really good, and with the salaries going up, we're able to compete a little bit better with some agencies, and hopefully one more year of salary increases, we'll be able to compete even better and attract even more people. So I think we're at the retention phase now. We need to be a little bit more of the attraction phase to get people here. But for the last several months, the jail has been fully staffed. They've got a list of people in case people move or transfer. I'm 8 patrolmen short right now, but we've got 11 people that we're going to send to the academy. One academy started this week, and another one starts in January. And so that'll help fill up our patrol division, and we'll be fully staffed there.
How long does it take to complete an academy?
They should be done by middle of the end of June of next year.
Wow.
So anywhere from 6 to 7 months, and they'll be completed.
That's a good thing. You know, it was stated in March, you know, morale. The other candidates said morale was an issue. What has morale been like from your perspective? And certainly, I imagine you've done a lot of walking around from between since then and now. What is morale like in the Taylor County Sheriff's Office?
You know, even back in March, I received 0 complaints about morale on our end. You know, most of it was with some county government mainly because of salaries and stuff. But that everyone has seen the work that we've been doing and getting pay up, and everybody seems really happy with what we've been doing so far. Some new equipment we've been getting for people, and just, you know, modifying uniforms and different things, and everyone seems really happy now. And I haven't received any issues about morale in months.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yes.
It's a very good thing. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, more with Sheriff Ricky Bishop as we discuss the fentanyl crisis in Texas and how it's impacted Taylor County, plus an alert training, command and control, as to how the Taylor County Sheriff's Office will be protecting our local schools here in the county. That and more coming up on Big Country Politics.
Welcome back to Big Country Politics on KTAB.
Well, welcome back to our Sunday conversation here on Big Country Politics. This week our special guest is Taylor County Sheriff Ricky Bishop. Sheriff Bishop, we were talking about your new term and, you know, kind of what you're looking to do in this with this new 4 years that you're going to be on in office. Let's shift gears and let's talk about, you know, the fentanyl crisis, because back in September in August, we had a special here on KTAB talking about the fentanyl crisis. Since that point, since we last visited about that to now here in November, end of November, what has been that challenge like to make sure that fentanyl is off the roads, off the streets here in Taylor County?
Well, the challenges haven't changed. It's a growing product that keeps coming into town, and extremely addicting, and it's something that's not going to change until something happens with the border. You know, this stuff is coming in too freely. You know, I think we discussed before, fentanyl is coming from China, goes to Mexico, gets made into pills by people that have no chemistry experience. They don't know how to mix things properly, essentially, because they will take pills and crush them up, basically put them in a big blender, start pouring fentanyl in until they decide that's enough, and then they start pressing out pills. You might have 2, 3, 4, 5 pills that have 0 fentanyl, to some that have a little bit, to one that's got the deadly dose in it. That's why, you know, you never know when that one pill is going to kill you. So, and it gets, you know, those that don't have enough fentanyl, people don't feel the high from it, so they start taking even more pills, or they might be taking 8, 10 at a time instead of 1 at a time. Certainly. And then that's when you can get into your deadly doses. You
talked about, you know, more policies coming from the government to really kind of help you guys out. I imagine, you know, DPS and, you know, Border Patrol probably would say the same thing. With the new administration, with the new border czar, how do you feel that this could, do you think it would help you guys, or with what you are trying to do in the battle against the fentanyl crisis?
Their job's going to be tough on trying to get a lot of things changed and implementing some things on the border, but if they can do even probably half of what they would like to do on the border, then we should begin to see a huge difference in how drugs, illegals, smuggling, everything is coming across the border. And hopefully that can happen. If it doesn't, I'm afraid things will probably get a lot worse before they get any better, because there's even new reports of a new drug as close as East Texas that they're calling pyro now, that is supposed to be 10 times deadlier than fentanyl, and Narcan won't fix the effects.
Wow, will not fix the
Correct.
effects of that. That's scary.
Yes.
We hear so much about this gang that comes from Venezuela, and it's now in 16 other states here in the United States. Do y'all see any of that type of activity with those type of gang members around here? What can you tell us about that?
To my knowledge, those gangs, we haven't identified any of them in the area. We do keep a gang database that is required by the state. Anytime someone is arrested, we try to find out any affiliations with gangs, and that information is passed along to Texas DPS so they can monitor their movements and whatever else they need to monitor with those people. But, you know, I think I've said before, we have had known cartel members here in the area. And, you know, that's with the border as open as it is. You know, you never know who's coming across the border. You know, whether it's cartel members, known terrorists, whoever's coming across, but something's got to be done to control. Once you control one thing, you'll be able to control a whole lot more if the U.S. government can be able to do what they need to. And they're going to get a lot of buy-in from the state of Texas and everybody else just because of the problems that we're having. The landowners are fed up. Everybody's fed up with what's going on because it doesn't. Some people think, oh, this only affects the border. Well, it doesn't. It affects everybody. We may not be seeing a lot of the illegals here, but we're seeing the effects of the narcotics that are coming here,
Right.
which are then hurting and killing people. And we've got to get something done.
This week you'll be attending an alert training, command and control. It's involving, you know, protecting schools and things like that, kind of, and to remedy kind of what happened in Uvalde. Tell me about this training and certainly what's all involved in that.
So the alert active shooter classes have been around for years, but since the events that happened in Uvalde, it has become mandated even more now that every peace officer in the state of Texas attend active shooter training every couple of years. Well, they've added a new class now for command and control for administrators, supervisors to attend to be able to help manage that incident when something happens, whether it's at a school, at a mall, or at a large event somewhere.
What is, I guess, command and control? How would you break that down for the layperson?
Well, essentially, whenever you go to something, somebody's got to be in charge. So, you know, a large incident command classes, that sort of thing, someone is always in charge of something, whether someone's in charge of the overall incident, and then you'll have other people underneath there that are in charge of the operations of the incident and stuff. But everything boils down to essentially there's one person in charge of something over this incident, and so that's what this class is supposed to help administrators do, is to be able to manage that incident so it's run as smooth as possible.
How much did that horrific event in Uvalde really kind of shape and you know, really kind of put this conversation in line to make sure that training is continued?
It shaped everything. You know, unfortunately, anytime a bad event happens somewhere, it's going to shape how training happens, whether it's law enforcement, the fire, EMS, anything. It's going to change things. So it's changed the state drastically, and so there's even more classes now that are mandated. So hopefully we can help prevent this or prevent it from being near as bad again.
Well, Sheriff, I appreciate your time today. Happy Thanksgiving, early Thanksgiving, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
All right, for Sheriff Ricky Bishop, who just won another term, is now embarking on his 4th term here in Taylor County. For Sheriff Bishop, I am Manny Diaz. This has been another Sunday Conversation here on Big Country Politics. We'll see you next time. God bless.